Oh, hey, beautifuls. What's going on? I know it's been a hot minute since you have heard from either Matt or I, and I'm not gonna lie, it's been a bit of a crazy summer for both of us. But fortunately, things are starting to slow down a little bit. Con season, especially, is starting to wind down, which, as most of you know, keeps Matt pretty busy most of the summer, often out of town. So, with that winding down, we are hoping to get back to this channel pretty regularly. It might take us maybe another month or two just to really, get back into the swing of things, get a good chunk of videos recorded once again. But we are planning it. We haven't forgotten about this. We haven't abandoned it. Things have just been a little wild. So we're about to wrap up Minish Cap, and moving on from there, we're gonna be playing Ocarina of Time, I believe. Yes, Ocarina of Time. So that's gonna be fun. We're gonna see how it goes. I make no promises for quality, and that is the only quality guarantee you'll get on this channel. In other news, the remake of Link's Awakening is coming out at the end of the week. I am very excited about that. I'm going to be picking that up day one and playing it. Matt might not be, but only because I believe he's out of town on the weekend. But, if he was here, he would be doing the same. We would have liked to do maybe a midnight release, a day one episode for it. Obviously, we're not going to play all the way through it, but we would like to get out a single first impressions episode. And then, of course, we will get to it eventually once we get through the timeline. If you guys want to hear our thoughts on it, maybe we can do some kind of podcast episode or something like that. Whatever, dealer's choice. But in the meantime, here's another random little podcast episode we recorded a while back. I'm just now getting around to actually editing this and posting it. Sorry, that's a me thing. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and apologize for the audio. We were recording on Skype and, well, Skype. But yeah, I hope you enjoy this and it tied you over. And we're going to go talk about cats now.
We want to talk about cats?
Yeah, I want to talk about cats. Can we talk about cats? I've been dying to talk about cats.
Sure.
Yeah, so
I'm gonna be just firing questions at you all the time because I'm just gonna be like, what happened?
What?
what? Rumple Tumples? What?
So have you seen?
No.
The reason we're talking about this is that the new trailer.
Wait, are we recording?
Yeah, we're recording.
Shit. Go ahead. New trailer for cats.
Yeah. Have you seen the new trailer for Cats?
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, it's something, huh?
I am not a musical guy. I like a good musical, I like a good Disney. One of my favorite movies is 1776, the story of the signing of the Declaration of Independence, but with song. Mm-hmm. And actually, one of the reasons why I like that movie so much is not just because of the songs, but because it does a pretty good job of showing that trying to make America really fucking sucked. Yep. And John Adams and Thomas Jefferson and Ben Franklin were all like, this sucks and I hate it.
Yep.
And also, we really want to abolish slavery, but the South sucks too.
Yeah. Also, you suck and I suck. We're all bad. It's all bad.
Yeah, well, that's what I liked about it was like it wasn't hiding the fact that everybody kind of sucked. Yeah. And it was also musical. But yeah, I think Seven Brides for Seven Brothers is intensely problematic. Yeah. So I have opinions about musicals, but I've never seen Cats.
See, I'm not a musical person either. Like, I like a couple handful ones. I guess the most musical that I like Disney movies, which kind of are their own thing, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, in terms of actual Broadway musical theater, I get into maybe a couple of shows at most, but it's not really my thing.
Right.
I was just weirdly into Cats as a child. I don't know why. Couldn't tell you.
I don't know why that amuses me so much. Just like yeah. To hear you say, I was just weirdly into cats.
Like,
okay, so the internet has been rediscovering or been discovering what the fuck Cats is.
Yes.
Can you give me a breakdown of like the history of it and maybe what the goddamn show is about?
Yes,
Or
yes, I
don't.
can.
We could talk about something else, but
Oh
that's
no, I
fine.
can absolutely do that. And I will.
Good. Oh man.
So Cats originally is actually based on a book of poems by T.S. Eliot. And it's
Oh no.
yeah, it's adorable. Like it's whimsical.
Okay.
It was written for his godchildren. Like it's a book of
Oh,
children's poems. Yeah.
that's cute. I like that.
It's called The Old Possum's Book of Practical Cats. It's really
Oh,
adorable. The version
that
that
is
I
nice.
have,
Uh,
uh, yeah, the version I have is actually drawn by or illustrated by Edward Gorey, which you would
okay.
recognize. You might not know him right off the top of your head, but you would know his artwork when you saw it.
Okay, I'm just gonna, while you're talking, I'm gonna look that up. You said it was Edward Gorey?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
do recognize this.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
So yeah, it's just a book of poems. They're all about cats. They're really whimsical. They have fun names and all that kind of stuff. A little Dr. Seussian at times. It's cute.
Uh-huh.
And so basically, he wrote this book of poems for his godchildren. Years later, fucking Andrew Lloyd Webber came along and was like, "Hey, I have an
Oh,
idea."
Andrew.
Yeah. Which, if you don't know Andrew Lloyd Webber, he is a very famous composer for musical theater. If you know anything about musical theater, you will have heard of something he's done. He's composed songs for Evita, for Jesus Christ Superstar, for Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat, Phantom of the fucking Opera, and of course Cats. So like,
Yeah.
you know this guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, he came along, was just like, hey, I'll make a musical about this. Is that cool? That's cool. All right. So he basically took the poems and turned them into songs.
Okay.
Yeah, so a lot of the songs that you'll hear in the musical, a good like 95% of those songs are just originally poems.
Okay. Okay.
Um, there are a couple that are original compositions, and we'll get to those in a second.
All right. All right.
But basically, the quote unquote story of Cats is that it is this group of cats, like this little tribe that comes together, and they're known as the Jellicle Cats.
The Jellicle Cats.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Okay.
It doesn't mean anything, it's just a whimsical name.
Whimsy.
Whimsy.
Whimsy. Go ahead.
But so yeah, like it's like one night a year they come together on a special night to have their Jellicle Ball. And at the end of the ball, the patriarch cat, like the big old leader called Old Deuteronomy, who's just this fucking ancient cat that is their leader.
Great name.
It's really good, right? Old Deuteronomy picks one cat in particular that is like worthy or whatever, and they get to go to the heaven side and be reborn and have a new life. Which the heaven side is like heaven for cats or some shit like that.
Okay.
So basically the whole musical is just all these cats having their fucking party and singing songs. A lot of songs about themselves.
I'm a cat. I lick my butt.
Basically just like
Okay.
introducing themselves and sort of competing to be the cat to be chosen, but you know.
I was going to say, this is the plot of a Courage the Cowardly Dog episode.
That would not surprise me.
Yeah, because it was about bananas. And,
Yeah.
and one banana would get to go to Banana Hala, which just meant he was going to be eaten by a giant ape.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
And so there is one cat in particular. Her name is Grisabella. And she is Grisabella the glamour cat.
Is she the sexy one in the
No.
Oh. Okay, well.
Nope.
Shut my mouth.
Not even almost. No, her name is Grisabella the glamour cat, and she was like a glamorous cat. But she's really old now. And for some reason she left the Jellicle tribe. It's a musical, so it's never really explained, but basically now that she's like old and basically kind of shitty looking,
old shitty looking cat.
yeah, like one of the lyrics in a song describing her says that like the mailman looks at her and is like, "Oh, that cat should have died." Like, Yeah, like
I'm
she's
having
that kind of
flashbacks.
cat.
Yeah, I'm having flashbacks to the Smelly Cat music video from Friends. Obviously, not the favorite pet.
Oh. Uh,
Okay,
so
so go ahead.
she's ostracized kind of from the Jellicle cats.
Uh-huh.
Again, not really said why. She, I guess, left a long time ago, and now she comes back, and all the other cats are like, ew, she's gross now.
Okay. Ew.
And basically, like, she tries to, get along with them and join a couple times. The plot is loose because it's again a theater musical about cats. But at in the very end, they come to accept her, and she's the one chosen to be reborn.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
She's a character. She sort of comes from the original book of poems, but also not really.
Okay.
She's not in the published version. She actually comes from a poem that T.S. Eliot chose not to publish in the book.
Oh, weird. Okay.
Yeah, like they took some of the stuff from the unpublished versions and even put it in the musical, which is kind of cool.
That's weird, but I like it though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Da, da, da.
Okay. What else? What else about this?
Oh yeah, wait, hold on. I'm looking at the Wikipedia article for her to make sure I got that part right.
Mm-hmm. Wikipedia, huh?
Grisabella the Glamour Cat. It was a poem called Grisabella the Glamour Cat that had been given to Lloyd Webber by Eliot's widow, and literary executor, whoever that is. Although the poem had been rejected from Old Possum's Book of Practical Cats for being too sad for children, it became the basis for Grisabella's character-defining song in the musical. The poem centers on a former glamour cat who has fallen on hard times and now roams the red light district near Tottenham Court.
Tottenham.
So that's fun.
Okay. No, that's fun. Certainly a word for it. Okay, so. Okay.
So her song in the musical is one of the songs that's originally written. It's not a poem. It's one of the original compositions.
Gotcha.
And it's basically the song that the musical is known for. And you even heard a little bit of it in the trailer. Her song is called Memory. And it's a fucking stellar song. Like,
okay.
All the other songs in the musical, kind of goofy, kind of silly, as they should be. You can laugh at them. Everybody shuts up when she sings Memory. Like, it's a good song. I'm going to make you listen to it.
It's like in Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark. Except nobody.
No. What? No. You fucking nerd. Let's talk about cats.
You fucking nerd. You piece of shit. We're not talking about that.
We're talking about my nerd shit. Shut up.
Now, if you'll excuse me, we need to talk about fucking...
Yeah, if you'll excuse me, I was going to talk about Rum Tum Tugger. So...
Sounds like a porn name. Like,
they all do.
Straight up.
They all do.
Old Deuteronomy. Oof.
Yeah, oof.
He goes hard. Anyway, tell me about more things about this thing.
That's basically the synopsis of the musical. Like, that's it. That I could tell you about separate songs, but like it is just cats kind of talking about them damn selves.
That's it? Is there any... Okay, so I have to know something. So as you were describing the plot, I immediately started thinking of that Courage the Cowardly Dog episode where the thing about that episode is, as is sometimes in that show, they use a framework or a structure of some kind. There's a little teeny tiny bit of social commentary going on. Like, nothing huge. It's a fucking Cartoon Network, like, original cartoon from that time. But, like, but every now and then, they'll get a little something in there, like, about relationships. Like, they'll have the episode about the abusive dog or the bunny or cat or whichever one they kept knocking around. And with this one, with the banana episode, it was essentially they were using religion to literally feed on the proletariat. And not to put too fine a point on it.
Uh-huh.
And I'm sitting here thinking, like, okay, so is that what Cats is about? Is
No.
the old Deuteronomy, he's not a stand-in for the aristocrat?
No.
No?
Nope.
It's not, there's nothing to do with any of that.
No, it is played absolutely straight.
It's just cats talking about being
100%.
cats.
Yes. The most social commentary you might find, and you gotta kind of know some behind the scenes stuff and be able to read into stuff, is going back to Grisabella.
Right.
The introduction for her song, Grisabella the Glamour Cat, is actually taken almost word for word from another poem by T.S. Eliot. Not from Cats, just another poem he wrote, called Rhapsody on a Windy Night.
Oh.
And the poem, I have it pulled up right now. The poem goes, "Remark upon the woman who hesitates toward you in the light of the door, which opens on her like a grin. You see the borders of her dress is torn. Bleh. You see the border of her dress is torn and stained with sand, and you see the corner of her eye twist like a crooked pin." And basically, oh God, what did I drop?
What did you do?
It was
what did you do?
Drop my phone. Fuck it.
Okay.
Basically, it's sort of comparing her to a fallen woman or a woman of the night. She's a cat, so she's not, but it's giving you that same kind of like ostracized woman detail to that character.
Interesting. I guess
that's about as deep as it goes.
I guess it's just so fascinating to me because, okay, so I never thought in a million years I would be on a podcast talking about cats, because
welcome to 2019.
Oh God, it's everywhere.
Welcome to friendship with me.
That part I'm okay with. 2019, not so much.
No one is.
Everything's bad. But like, I'm thinking about it, and I'm just like, I remember Cats. The primary influence that Cats had on my development into a human being from a spud.
Was there any?
It was a joke. It was like a punchline, like The Simpsons, or cutaway gag in fucking Family Guy, or Rocko's Modern Life, I think, would make jokes about it or something. Like, you know, so it's just, and every now and then I'd hear somebody make snide comments about it, like again, like on The Simpsons, somebody would talk about Cats being this kind of joke of a stage play. It's like, oh, you're more of a Cats person, aren't you? Like that. And like, I remember thinking, like, but this thing is so ubiquitous and clearly so popular, there must be something to it. Like, the Da Vinci Code is a shitty book, but it does, if you're like a child like me and you have no experience thinking critically about religion, it's gonna make an impression on you.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm sort of thinking about Cats, like, what's going on with you? Like, what's your
deal?
What's your deal, Cats?
Yeah, that's the funny thing about, like, yeah, Cats is kind of the punchline, but it was insanely popular, so, like, y'all saw it, you know?
Is it still playing on Broadway?
Yeah, it just came through Austin in May.
What?
Yeah, I'm kind of sad I missed it.
Damn.
Yep.
Wow. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. It
was the longest running Broadway musical until Phantom of the Opera came along. Uh-huh. Yeah,
so
it took Phantom of the Opera to beat Cats. By 2012, it made $3.5 billion worldwide.
Good fucking Lord. Okay, like, look, okay, I want to be clear about something. I don't judge anyone for their interests. I am a fucking Godzilla fan. I have checked that at the door a long time ago.
Uh-huh.
This is one of those things where I'm like, I guess I'd have to see it in order to get it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to go see the movie? Because now we're getting to the movie, I assume.
Oh, I'm taking you to the movie.
Oh, no. Don't you threaten me with a good time.
It's not. Oh, it's not going to be good.
Is this revenge for me making you go see Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom?
Yeah, I'm cashing that token.
It's like, oh, we're gonna go have a nice time. We're gonna go see Wonder Woman, or we're gonna go see fucking The Last Unicorn, or literally anything. Go with me to see this shitty dinosaur movie. Okay, come with me to see this uncanny valley nightmare.
Okay.
Well, like, okay. I mean, I still feel like my original post about cats was the most on point take anyone's had, where I just took the screenshot from What We Do in the
Yeah.
of the guy. I feel like
He never gets the face right.
yeah, it's just like I'll be watching the trailer, and I really want to hear your like more comments on the trailer, but I just want to say real quick, I'm watching this and I'm thinking to myself, every now and then they'll look okay because enough space at the top of the skull, like because the human eyes are in the center of the face. Yeah. The top of the skull to the bottom of the chin in most human beings is about equidistant.
Mm-hmm.
When that's off, it's something I struggle with in my art all the time. And I never leave enough space. It's difficult for me sometimes to leave enough space for like the skull, but fight with that constantly. And here's this movie, like this. I'm gonna look up how much this cost.
Too much.
Okay, Cats movie. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I just remembered seeing it. Okay, hold on. I found the Wikipedia. I found Rebekah.
Uh-huh.
Everything's okay. Why does it you will believe in cats, that cats exist?
I don't know. That's always been its fucking like the thing that's always been its little catchphrase. I don't get it. Don't worry about it. It was made in the 90s. It doesn't matter.
But that implies commentary on religion that I was talking about.
Hey, people didn't believe in cats until this musical came out. Just not really.
Cats. Just in general.
Yeah.
Just cats, like that's not real.
Yeah, it took this musical for people to be like, oh, cats are real, huh?
Oh, that thing that's been living in my house and pooping in a box, that's not real. That's a coon.
That's a changeling.
It's an Egyptian god.
So, I mean, going back to, like, why the fuck is Cats popular?
Yeah, please.
Because I have a hard time saying this musical is good. It's not bad, but it's also not fucking profound.
Sure.
But you know what? I think maybe that's partially what people like about it.
It's just kind of a silly, fun time.
Yeah, like it is exactly what's on the can. Like, it's just about cats. And it's a fun time, and the costumes are kind of cool. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen the original costumes for the show.
They're kind of poofy, and
they're all in... I'm going to send them on Skype right now.
Okay. I have a vague idea what they look like.
They're all in, like, leotards, like skin-tight leotards and poofy headpieces. Instead of doing paws, they gave them, like, fingerless gloves and things like that, and they painted their faces.
That's fun.
Yeah, like, they didn't try to make them look super cat-like. They were very much like, look, we're gonna dress up people on stage to look like cats. We'll make, like, a visual metaphor for cats, you know?
Right, which is I feel a dying art, and at least in a lot of the entertainment industry.
Yes.
This idea of something that's not a literal representation of something else. Mm-hmm. It's the Beauty and the Beast mentality of don't think too hard about this.
Yeah.
Or
I mean, I'd say the place where it's still alive and well is musical theater, because they're like, look, it's people on a fucking stage. We can only do so much.
right.
We're not going to try to make it look as realistic as possible. We're going to make it look representative of what we're doing, you know?
Right.
Which I think is why the terrible CGI is even more enraging, because it's like, you already had costumes.
Well, and that I think is really the crux of what is, because my friends, Jeff and John, they did a podcast recently where they mentioned the Cats trailer, and they were like, I don't understand why everyone's all up in arms about this, because neither of them understand anything about Cats. I don't think either of them had even really seen the trailer. And I just think that, like, a lot of it comes down to the simple fact that they're off. They look like CGI. They look like somebody. It looks like when Ryan Reynolds was the Green Lantern, and the technology wasn't really there yet to represent a convincing superhero on screen in CGI. I mean, I just saw Spider-Man Far From Home the other day, and I was actually surprised at how much of the character just walking around were actually just CGI costumes.
Yeah.
Which is a little frustrating, because it's like, you just put a guy in a costume, right? Like, it's a superhero. That's the point.
Yeah, it's so annoying. Like, I can get it for some superheroes. Like, I get it for Iron Man.
Right.
That's a much more complicated costume to make. Obviously, I get it for the Hulk. Like,
right.
But yeah, a guy in a leotard is like, come on.
Well, I mean, that's why I'm still like, that's why I recoiled so hard from the costumes they made for the Power Rangers movie from a few years ago, where they over designed the costumes to look cool and look like Iron Man, and then they were like, oh shit, we can't make these practically and have them still do their fight scenes and stunts, so we're going to have to do it all CGI. And then they did it, and it looks like shit, because they didn't have they only had $70 million to make that movie. So, and that's what's frustrating about the Cats, is that it's just this ugly CGI where people's faces are kind of floating around on these cat heads.
When it's like, you could have just put people in costumes. You could have just did that.
Well, and that of course plays to a really frustrating thing that's happening in the industry right now, because the film industry is very much, current trend is less pre-production, shorter pre-production, longer post-production, or not even longer post-production, just all of the weight gets shifted to post-production.
Yeah.
Because pre-production means planning. It means making it right. And also, but
you cut out there for a second. Say that again.
A pre-production means planning, and more like you just have to make sure shit goes right. And that's kind of all there is. And it's not all there is to it, but it's like the reason why Hollywood doesn't like pre-production is because there's so many moving parts to it, and there's so many contractors, and there's so many unions to have to deal with.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of it is what it comes down to is unions. Now, we of course have armies, legions of CG artists working round the clock to try to basically make the movie.
Yeah. And they're very talented people, but they're always working on a crunch. They're always working with they're like VFX artists are not unionized still, if I'm aware, as long as I'm aware.
Not.
Yeah, so like they can spend months working on a project only for someone to come back and be like, yeah, scrap it, change it all. Right now.
Well, I mean, we just saw that happen with Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah.
Which, thank God, they had at the very least acquiesced and were like, okay, you know what, we're just going to have to push the release date back, because our artists are not going to be physically able to remake the movie.
And, like, it's also cheaper because they're not unionized, which means they get overworked and underpaid, and Hollywood likes it. Like, you can't do that to costume designers. You can't do that to, like, you know, other people in that branch of Hollywood, like, because they're all unionized. VFX artists aren't yet.
Right, exactly. I mean, and of course, this all ties in the game industry too. I mean, the game industry is crippled right now because of there's no unions, and it's and I mean that's what I've always said, especially whenever people are like, I don't understand why this horrible thing happens, or why this thing keeps happening, or this thing that's clearly not good keeps happening. It's like, follow the money. Chances are someone is profiting off of this.
Yeah. Because ultimately, like, do big budget studios even care if their movies look like shit? Because frankly, if they look like shit, it gets people talking. We're talking about Cats because the new movie looks like shit. Like, it works. We're part of this wheel. Like, I'm fully aware that us going to see this shitty movie, you know, we're in on it. We're giving them our dollars. Like, I get it.
Oh, yeah. Well, and that's the thing. Like, when it comes to special effects, and it comes to all this stuff, I recognize that things aren't going to stay the same forever. Not everyone's going to keep you techniques. Because I'm a big special effects guy, and I like practical effects, and I like putting people in costumes, and I like monsters and stuff, and I like all that stuff. But I understand that when the tools are, we're not being anti-CGI here. The tools should hopefully make for a better product. But one thing I have noticed is that a lot of people who go to see movies, like the majority, they don't give a shit. A movie isn't even something that they really... That's why you see people who go to movie theaters and are on their phones in the movie or talking during the movie. Because those people don't consume film the way that people who give a shit consume film. And unfortunately, the unfortunate reality is that there's a lot more of those people than there are people like you and me. Like, I went and saw...
I'm always a little hesitant to go down that road because I don't like... I don't like digging into the mentality that, like, other people are inherently more stupid because they don't view things the way...
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all. I understand.
I know. I just it's kind of a... God, I hate this term, but it's a slippery slope into that, like, well, other people are just... The masses are dumb. And I'm like, no, the masses aren't dumb. Like...
Well, no. I think people are, on the whole, actually pretty smart, or at least smarter than I think we like to give them credit for. What I'm saying is that people simply consume media differently. And I think that I'm thinking about the Transformers movies, which on those films are well documented. I think that Bumblebee is the only one worth seeing. The rest you can literally use your other Transformers movie discs as what is that? Where you throw the disc and you go out to a shooting range.
Oh, I have no idea.
Shot put? No, it's a different sport. Oh. Anyway, my point is that, but the thing is that those movies still did insanely well. Bumblebee was, by comparison, the lowest performing out of all of them, but it also wasn't targeting a mass demographic. It was a kind of a thoughtful, sensitive movie about a girl and her robot.
Yeah.
And as a result, and also, the franchise had more or less burned out by that point, because even Transformers 5 had underperformed, even though
it's kind of late to the game.
Right.
I think I think not so much that, obviously, like, people aren't dumb, and it's not always that people don't view media the way we do. It's that a lot of things are trying to target the masses more than anything.
Right.
And the broader you try to make something, the worse it gets, or at least not always even bad, just the more mediocre it gets. But it does target the masses because people will still see a mediocre movie if it somewhat appeals to them.
Right, because, and I think that was the point I was trying to reach, is that for a lot of people, going to see a movie is just something to do on a Friday afternoon.
Yeah.
And because I remember being in the theater for Transformers, and I remember at one point I went to go to the bathroom because it's a 3.5 hour movie. God damn it!
Jesus.
And I know, I know, and I remember both times I got up and I came back. Most of the other people in the theater were just kind of on their phones, just kind of dicking around. And I mean, this was in the Draft House. This was like the dollar theater, so they could get. They were just kind of just fussing with their phone and just kind of being like whatever, because to a lot of these people, they're going because this movie has big robots and like some action in it, but for the most part, it's a fireworks show, and I'm just gonna tune out. Something catches my attention, and
it's also 3.5 hours.
it's
Jesus
also
Christ.
3.5 hours long. I mean, in fairness, I went to go see Transformers 5 for review at like a matinee, and about halfway through it, I was like, I won't so
like,
bad.
I want to leave.
I want to disengage from this movie. And I think that's just and it doesn't make those people stupid. It just I think you hit the nail on the head though. It's like when you're trying to appeal to these mass audiences, a lot of mass audiences aren't that invested. So I don't know. Like I had a point to make about this, and I could just.
Well, I think we're also seeing this turn where even if something looks like shit, it doesn't matter. In fact, that might be to the movie's benefit, because if it looks like shit, you're going to get people going to see it just because it's a train wreck. In which case, good dollars or bad dollars, it's still dollars. Like, it doesn't matter.
Exactly. The money is still the same color.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think about, I was thinking about Avatar, and about how you could not have made a more mass appeal film for that part of the 21st century.
Yeah.
It was so broad and so generic a film. It's it was essentially the same, for the same reason, not exactly the same reasons. Bear with me, because I know people are going to be pissed off when they hear me say this. Star Wars was kind of the same thing, where it was this movie that coalesced the last 20 or 30 years of pop culture into one film. Of course, that Star Wars did a bunch of stuff that people had never, and also it also had charm and good characters and good acting.
Yeah. I would say, like, the original Star Wars trilogy is proof that you can make something with mass appeal that does, like, the same tropes and the same story and stuff, and it still be done charmingly, cleverly, and, like, in its own unique way.
Sure.
Because that's the thing, is that it's like, its base ingredients are the hero's journey. It's the same, it's the tropes, and it's the character archetypes that we've seen for thousands of years.
Oh, yeah.
But the characters had their own unique spin. It was a unique world at the time, like, and yeah, it was charming, and it had its own unique, like, decorations, and that made it really appealing.
Yeah, and it was a combination that nobody had ever, or nobody had really thought to make a samurai movie in space with like a heavy dash of World War II iconography, and
well, also heavily inspired by kind of the like space opera shows that had been popular like 30 to 50 years prior that were no longer in vogue.
Oh yeah, well, I was gonna say it was made as a Buck Rogers remake, but Lucas couldn't get the rights to Buck. It was Buck Rogers or it was Flash Gordon. It was one of those two.
One of those two. That they were no longer popular.
Exactly, they were yeah. So But then you have Avatar, which is, again, it's not a bad film. It's just, here's everything. Here are these high points from the last 20 or 30 years of culture. You have mechs, you have aliens, you have this heavy dash of fantasy, of spiritualist fantasy and new age belief stuff.
Well, it,
You've
it
got,
was it was the Savage Noble. It was
right.
Pocahontas. It was Dances with Wolves. It was Fern Gully. Like, it was all that,
It was white savior
trope.
narrative. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
exactly, and of course it had, like I said, it had all these fantasy elements to it, and it also had like essentially been helping a furry, like, of the anthropomorphic wave that came out of the 80s and 90s,
Mm-hmm.
because they're cat people. And but the problem is that, and now while it hit all those high points, and it did it wrapped up in this amazing new technology, it's just one of those, and it did incredibly well. It had no shelf life because there was nothing to remember. There was nothing to look back on or to analyze,
Yeah.
be a fan of. Like, you don't really, you don't think about, like, well, what happened after? Like,
Mm-hmm.
what happened next? Or what are these characters, what are the deeper part of these characters' relationships?
Yeah.
Or whatever. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's a fine line. It's a fine line.
It's a theme park though.
Sure is. Apparently, it's a good one too.
Yeah, I want to
So
go.
I
Um,
want to go too.
but yeah, cats though.
Yeah, cats though. I don't know. I was actually watching clips last night because I was like, fuck yeah, I'm just gonna go watch some cat shit. Because I grew up with this thing on VHS.
Nice.
Like, they have an official recording that was on VHS, probably DVD now. And I watched it all the time, so it's on YouTube. A lot of the clips are on YouTube now, not the whole thing, but a lot of it. So I was watching it, and I was actually looking more and more at the costumes. I was like, these are actually pretty creative. Like, looking at it now as an adult and not like a 10-year-old.
Right, where you're just like,
Um,
wow.
yeah, where everything is cool, doesn't fucking matter. Um,
Yep.
but yeah, I want to show you this one. I'm sending
Okay,
it
send it to me.
in the Skypes.
The
Hopefully that
skis.
works.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Let's see if it.
So that's Grisabella. And, like, look at her coat. I
Oh,
will. Yeah.
oh, so she's the one. She's the older cat who's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh wow.
Yeah. Like, I hopefully I'll remember to put this in the actual Skype video, but, like, her
Sure.
coat looks like it's matted fur. Like, it looks kind of gross and kind of like, yeah, like it's all matted and old and stuff like that. Like a cat that's been on the streets for a long time.
And as a result, of the silhouette, it also, I'm noticing it also kind of has this, the kind of coat you would see an older woman of stature, or even a younger woman of stature. Like,
Mm-hmm. It looks, the silhouette and the collar looks like the glamorous coat of like a Hollywood starlet of the 50s.
yes, exactly.
And it's hard to tell in this photo. You can see it much more when she's actually moving on stage. She's got like a black sequin dress under there, so she has this like Hollywood starlet kind of outfit, but it's dirty. Like, it's gross and it's dirty. Like, it's a really clever costume.
That's the. I was just gonna say, I can. Are they working on your? They're working on your hedges out there.
Yeah, can you hear that? Can
I
you
can
hear that
hear it a little bit.
sweet fucking, what is that? Is that a leaf blower?
That's a leaf blower. Oh yeah.
Oh,
It's
fucking
fine. It's fine. It probably won't come through in the final capture, but it was just funny.
yeah. We'll
Um.
fucking see about that. Hey, do you remember last time when I said one of the things I hate most are wet rides and dry parks?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what else goes on that list?
What's that?
Leaf blowers. I hate leaf blowers.
I used to kind of have fun with it when I was younger. Um. Till I was like, my dad would come out and be like, "You're not doing it right." Um.
Okay.
Okay, sorry. I was trying to make this enjoyable, but um, Oh man. The fuck were we talking about? Oh yeah, cats. Yeah, like, and I think I think that's another part of the problem, of the inherent problem of Hollywood these days, is they're not just going to make a literal translation of the stage show, even with higher production values and more elaborate makeup and costumes, because the industry is now so used to doing everything in post that actors don't want to do makeup anymore. A lot of actors are just like, you'll be lucky if you get a Doug Jones or somebody who will, like, that's their thing. Or, you'll get somebody who's on the set of a Star Trek movie. But, like, I saw that Men in Black movie recently, that new Men in Black movie.
Yeah.
With Tessa Thompson. And it was very okay, first of all, like, really okay.
Yeah.
Very bland. But I remember watching it and I realized, oh my god, all of these aliens are CG paintovers. Like, there's no touch of Rick Baker in this. And as a result, all the aliens kind of look the same. And they all kind of look weirdly cartoony and just not convincing at all. As opposed to, like, you've got multiple artists working on stuff, or you have multiple visions that create a sense of variety. Now, and that's just because with the way Hollywood works, you've got to have like much as people kind of like to poo-poo J.J. Abrams for Star Wars and Star Trek and all that, the dude liked mixing his effects.
Yeah.
I mean, he made a point of Star Wars of Force Awakens to just cram a bunch of practical effects in it. But they still had a bunch of, last minute things, like the little butthole-eyed old woman alien. Did you see Force Awakens?
Oh no.
That's fine then, don't worry about it.
Did I? Which one is that?
Force Awakens is the first one with Rey, and
Oh yeah, I did see that one. The first of the new trilogy.
Yeah. I was like, it was the first one with the girl with the lightsaber. Anyway,
I liked it. I don't know.
Cute. It's cute. It's simple and it's cute. But there's a lot of practical effects in it. But there's but the character of Maz Kanata, who is the little butthole alien, she was supposed to be a practical effect. She was supposed to be like Yoda. But at the last minute, they couldn't like agree on a design or something. I don't know the exact story, but basically they rushed it through and were like, oh, fuck it, make her CGI.
Yeah.
And I guess she came out fine. Like, she's not a distracting effect. But I don't know.
Of CGI characters, she's up there in terms of, like, good ones.
Right.
But we can still kind of tell. Like,
yeah, well, you can always tell. I mean, an effect, the only digital effects that are truly convincing are the ones that don't even register as effects. Like,
yeah, I mean, they're in fairness to not practical, in fairness to like CGI effects and stuff, there's a lot of good ones out there. You just don't notice them.
Right, you either don't notice them, they're just done really, really well. Like, I still maintain that Pacific Rim is one of the best uses of CGI one of the best CGI heavy films in the last decade. And Pacific Rim, and it's because they worked really hard to make the robots and the kaiju feel gigantic.
Yeah.
And they really busted their asses to do that. And then you see the Pacific Rim sequel, and I'm sure you didn't see the sequel, but that's okay. Nobody did. And that the robots, they might as well have been men in suits, because there was no sense of scale. If they were men in suits, there was a sense of weight, but they were just like these floating, like, quick slap together, quick rush job, and everything, like, there was no weight to anything. It just is a pale comparison. the effects that you don't notice, the ones you don't notice that are CG, typically tend to be things like old age, like if you're going to age somebody up, or if you're going to erase buildings from the in Mad Max Fury Road. Mad Max Fury Road has a lot of CGI, but it's all background stuff. It's like it's just kind of it's erasing mountains in order to create a more barren landscape.
Yeah, I mean there's a fuck ton of CGI in movies these days. You just don't notice it. Like there are particle effects, there are like background and landscape effects. Oftentimes, like if someone's missing a limb in a movie talking about Mad Max Fury Road, that person is not actually missing a limb most of the time in real life. Like they have to CG that limb out, you
Yeah.
know?
Oh, yeah.
And like there's a lot of really good CGI effects in movies these days. We just don't notice them because they look natural. Therefore, they get no attention. It's the bad ones that we always notice.
Right. I mean, and even if it's something you can tell is CG, like I saw Crawl the other day, which is the Barry Pepper alligator movie.
Yeah.
You remember Barry Pepper?
Nope.
He was the lead. He was the lead Battlefield Earth.
Say that one more time.
He was the lead opposite John Travolta in Battlefield Earth.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, which is an amazing movie. But yeah, the alligators in the movie are all CG. But there is a lot of practical set dressing and props and effects and stuff in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
But the alligators are pretty much all CG, but they look pretty good. They're really well handled and very meticulously animated. I personally I would have preferred a big puppet alligator, but given the stuff they wanted to do with the alligators, I understood why they did what they did.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, but cats though.
But cats though. Cats though. Cats.
I feel like that should be the title of the podcast is "But Cats Though."
But cats though. But cats, right? Yeah.
Cats.
Anyway, it's gonna be wild. God.
Yeah.
I don't know why it annoys me, but it annoys me that it's got such an all-star cast.
Yeah, I was just looking at the cast list and I was like, Jesus Christ.
Like, I think it annoys me because it is so just like, look at all these stars. Come see the movie with all the stars. And I'm just like, I don't give a shit.
I don't want to.
It's just like it's annoying again because like it comes from Broadway, and I'm like, there's a lot of very talented people who have already been doing this show on fucking Broadway. But it's also like Broadway shows are fucking hard. Like you have to be a very talented, multi-talented person. Like you have to either dance very well, you have to sing very well. More often than not, you gotta be able to do both. And I am sure there are a couple people in this movie that are either double or triple threats, but there's a lot where I'm just like, they're just a singer or they're just an actor. Like, you know?
Yeah, I mean it's that same issue of casting for animated films, where you'll see like this giant list of names splatter across the screen after watching an extremely mediocre trailer for fucking whatever Angry Birds 2, and you're like, okay,
Oh, that's where the budget went.
yeah, and
Like fucking Taylor Swift is going to be in this new Cats, and I'm just like, why?
It's that I'm like that person can sing, and I'm not a Taylor Swift hater. I actually have I've been hanging out with my friend Jennifer, who I don't know if you've ever met her, but you would really like her. She was on my most recent Giganticast episode. You'd really like her. She's fun. She really she was showing me a bunch of music videos, and I think it was Taylor Swift who did like this big gay anthem video. Um, the line in it was "Shame never made anybody less gay." Um,
Shade, everybody. Shade never made anyone less gay. I have a lot of problems with that music video. Now it's not the time to talk about it.
Well, we will put a pin in that because I personally liked it, but then again, my experiences aren't the same as Alex's, so I thought it was kind of cute. But let's try.
I have a lot of problems with Taylor Swift, but I can also recognize that I think she gets more hate than necessary just because of like who she is, the fact that like she's a woman in music, she's a very talented and popular woman in music. So I'm like, I have a lot of problems and I have a lot of criticisms with her, but I can also see that she gets a lot of undue criticism because of who she is. So,
which is what comes with the territory, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But anyway, on the point of the movie itself, though, yeah, I mean, it's already been said, that if we cram this thing with stars, and then we'll just hand it off to a bunch of CG artists and have time to make it, because that's the thing, is the CG's being treated like a Band-Aid these days.
Like, this does it. This will make the whole movie.
Sure, because I mean, it's also viewed as this catch-all magical thing, because it's very easy for it's also very annoying to consider that. Oh God, it drives me crazy. It's annoying to consider that a lot of people consider, when they see CGI in a film, even if it's obvious CGI, compared to a more obvious practical effect.
Mm-hmm.
An obvious practical effect, they'll tend to just kind of shit all over it, as opposed to something that's a lot of obvious CGI. They'll be like, "Oh, well, it's CGI. It's like, it means it's better. It means it's a higher caliber film."
I think that is rapidly changing.
You think so?
With the amount of memes coming out about cats, fuck yeah, it is. Like, the fact that people are like, "Hey, this looks like shit." Like, this looks like I think it is very rapidly changing with how much people are shitting on like bad CGI. Like, people are talking about this movie. They're talking about Lion King. They were talking about Sonic. Like, hey, by the way, if you had told me in 2019 that you could say the sentence, "that badly animated CGI cat movie," and I would have to ask which one, wouldn't have believed you. Anyway, yeah, I think people are coming around being like, "Oh no, a lot of CGI in a movie doesn't mean it's more expensive or better. In fact, it is starting to look like it's cheaper."
Yeah, I mean, God knows.
Because like, when television shows CGI can look better, come on, like,
yeah. I mean, Game of Thrones has some of the best CGI I've seen in years. Like I said, I saw Spider-Man: Far From Home, and nothing about the CGI really wowed me. It all just felt like they were just throwing shit at me to try to wow me, which is the other thing that kind of sank Black Panther for me. And I think Black Panther's a fine movie. But it kind of falls apart in the third act because it's becoming so reliant on CG that I now don't care about what's happening, because there's no way.
Yeah.
There's no weight, or I never worried for the characters or anything, because I know they're not there. And that's, of course, again, it's not on the fault of the artists. It's the fault of the people making the decisions in the higher up echelons, because they don't understand what's going on the artist level.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, cats though.
Yeah, cats though.
I don't know. The one casting so far that like I'm actually okay with is for Victoria, which is she's the white cat that you keep seeing. Like, they're obviously making her like the main character.
She the sexy one?
She's just the white cat that's in all the previews.
What's her name?
Victoria.
Shut up. I thought it was like Vicky Vabadaba.
No, for some reason this one cat just has like a regular name.
Oh, I see her. I recognize her from the promos from the. Oh, there's a picture of an actual cat. Oh, okay. I recognize her from all the promotional material from the stage play. Let me look for movie.
Like she's
Oh,
literally
yeah.
the cat of the movie.
Yeah, she's the one that they're kind of like, look at her. She's all fucking sexy and weird shape.
I think you're reading some weird stuff into that, but all right.
She's in this pretty reclining position in this one. I'm gonna stop talking about this.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Don't worry about it. It's fine.
No. Anyway,
I'm somehow wound up on Fur Affinity, so I'm closing all that.
Yeah, maybe that's your problem, huh? It's weird. They just drew her getting railed by two other cats. Is that going to be in the movie?
I can't think about cat sex because I know they have barbed dicks.
Well, now you're going to think about it.
Well, I am.
But
anyway, you were saying.
Anyway, Victoria is like, you'll always recognize her because she is always the like all white cat in the stage play and now the movie. It's looking to me that they're making her the main character of the movie because the play doesn't really have a main character. Right. It has a cast of principal characters, but it doesn't have like a single one whose story you follow. Gotcha. So it looks like, and I get it, it's a movie, they kind of have to do that. Right. But the thing about Victoria is that I don't think she actually sings that much in the original stage play. She might do some backup singing, but she doesn't have her own song. The thing about her is she's a ballerina. And she's like a very talented one in every show that she's in. Like she's very flexible. She's a very talented ballerina. She has like a pas de deux with another ballet dancer in the show, like early on in the show. Okay. Very good. So it looks like for the movie, they have cast a woman named Francesca Hayward, who is not an actress. She is actually a ballerina. She is a principal dancer in the Royal Ballet of London. So that's pretty good, you know. Yeah. We'll see what her acting chops are like because it's not like she's going to be doing just ballet like she would have in the Broadway show, but we'll see. Right. But you know what? I'll take it. At least I don't have to stare at some fucking A-list actor the whole time.
And who wants that?
Not me.
I mean, it's very interesting, the kind of performances you'll get out of somebody who's ostensibly not an actor. I mean, Gal Gadot is, I wouldn't call her a good actress, but she has a very unique presence. Mm-hmm. And de vivre, lust for life to her roles as Wonder Woman that I think people really respond to.
It's not to say that the girl who's going to play Victoria doesn't have any acting talent, because to be a ballet dancer, especially like a principal one in a show, you do have to have some kind of acting. It is a show. Right. But the stage acting and movie acting are two different things. But we'll see. Yeah. Again, she already seems like the most delightful of the characters in that movie so far. So cool. I'll take that.
Well, I'll take that small, tiny hope.
That one tiny hope.
Yeah. I don't know.
Who the fuck do we got in this movie? I'm looking right now.
I was gonna say I had it up a second ago.
Idris Elba.
Jason Derulo.
Yeah, that's a weird choice.
Yeah, remember Jason Derulo?
Remember Jason Derulo? No.
Oh.
Neither does anyone else.
Weird choice.
And he's gonna be playing Rum Tum Tugger, which on one end I get, on the other end I'm like, why?
But why though? ¿Por qué?
Eh? Okay. Yeah, Rum Tum Tugger is like, he's like the bad boy cat. He's the cat that fucks. That's it. That's his character.
Hot fantasy that fucks. I don't know what I'm so.
You okay?
No, I'm not okay.
That's fine.
Not since the accident.
All right. Yes.
Who else is in it?
All right. Idris Elba is going to be in it, which, we all love Idris Elba.
Yeah.
What was that? You're cutting out.
I don't know what's going on with my connection. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah, it's not great. But yeah, Idris Elba, he's going to be playing McCavity, who is like... McCavity's a weird character. He is this scary crime cat.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know. He shows up a couple times in the musical. They'll be in the middle of something, and then suddenly lightning flashes, and McCavity shows up, and all the cats flee, and then he's gone again.
Oh.
He was kind of scary as a child, but it's kind of goofy now as an adult. But anyway, I guess he's playing that character, which is interesting.
I mean, I like that Idris Elba has been leaning into some villain roles recently.
Why the fuck not, man?
I mean, he's going to be in that Hobbs and Shaw.
Oh, yeah.
Where
the only Fast and Furious movie I will ever care about.
I was going to say, me too, because I'm like, oh, man, bunch of Maori warriors are going to, not Maori and Samoan, or bunch of Samoan warriors are going to go up against a bunch of friggin' mercs with machine guns, and all they have are spears and battle axes. I am in for this.
It's gonna be fun.
Yep.
So who else we got? We got Rebel Wilson playing Janani Dots.
Which cute.
Janani Dots is a cute character. She's like the super lazy cat, but she's super lazy during the day, but she runs around at night, and she's taught all the beetles and mice how to dance.
Oh, that's adorable.
It's cute. I'm not a big fan of Rebel Wilson, and I don't think it's that I don't like her. I think it's that I don't like that every fucking role she plays is the same role. And it's just always haha, she's the comedy relief fat girl.
Oh, yeah. I remember her now.
Every fucking role, and it looks like it's going to be the same thing, but now as a cat. And I'm like, great.
I really want. I'm still really I'm holding out hope that one day we will. I mean, maybe this already exists, but one day we'll get a mainstream movie where a super hot dude falls in love with a huskier somebody who would normally be in that role, like a huskier girl who would normally be a comedic actress, but it would be played totally straight. The super hot dude just completely falls in love with her, and it wouldn't be played for laughs.
I want it, but I don't want there to be any point in the story that acknowledges it.
Right, exactly.
I want it to just happen. It is just a part of the story. It's not a, haha, isn't that funny moment, and it's not a, look how subversive we are. I just want it to be a thing that happens, and it's not remarked upon.
I was so annoyed. I was so annoyed in Kick-Ass when both of these, two of the three weird nebbish boy teenagers who are kind of dorky, both wound up with super hot girlfriends at the end.
Oh, always.
I actually really like it. They do do that gag in Spider-Man Far From Home, but they actually do it really well, and I actually really like the resolution to it. It's really funny. Are you ever going to see it?
I don't know. Maybe.
Should I just not say it then?
Yeah, not right now.
Okay. It's really cute though. It's handled surprisingly well. So I would know your take on it. But yeah, no, I mean, let's be honest about this. It's Cats. I don't think they're going to be pushing a whole lot of envelopes here.
No, definitely not.
No.
Judi Dench is going to be playing Old Deuteronomy, so she's actually going to be the matriarch cat.
That's pretty cool. That's not bad.
I
like some Judi Dench.
Ian McKellen is going to be playing Gus the theater cat, which is just perfect.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
it's perfect.
Fucking perfect.
Yes, Gus the old theater cat that should go to Ian McKellen.
I mean, again, I'm not familiar with the characters from the play, but just Ian McKellen, and just based on what you've said, I'm like, yeah, that checks out. I'm down with this.
Gus the theater cat is basically just what it sounds like. He is an old cat that was the cat of the theater and hung out at the theater and saw shows and was like an actor cat. And
Ah.
now he's kind of an older cat, and it's like, yeah, that's perfect though.
I really like. I have to say one thing I do like about the setup of this whole thing with cats is it actually does kind of promote the idea of cats, the fact that cats are actually communal animals, and they live in colonies in the wild anyway, and in groups, and because everybody sort of there's a lot of anti-cat sentiment where people are kind of like, oh, well, cats are just assholes.
Yeah.
And we talked about this after we saw Shape of Water. We were
Oh
all in
yeah.
agreement. We were all in agreement that is a great movie, but the fact that they were just kind of okay with with just eating a cat.
Yeah.
Um,
And kind of playing it like a joke is like, it ate a cat. And it's like, if you ate a dog on screen, people would be horrified.
right.
But it's a
And
cat, so haha, because cats are assholes.
right, cats are disposable essentially.
Yeah.
And I think about how like people are like, well, cats are loners and they don't actually like you. You're just a source of food. And it's like, no, no, cats like being around people. They just don't. They're not like dogs though. They don't like get up in your face. Not all the time anyway, but like they don't act like dogs and they show affection differently. They just kind of want to be in the same area as you. They don't need to be constantly playing or constantly up in your grill. They just they take comfort in the fact that you're there, you're part of their colony.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
they're just chill.
yeah, they're just much more. Well, in some cases, I remember when Loop Jack in the middle of us doing a Zelda playthrough. Do you not remember
Well,
that?
she wasn't trying to do anything. Like it's not like she jumped at me. She was just trying to crawl across the back of the couch and fucking fell.
Yeah. Well, oh, that is what happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just thought it was kind of funny because it was just in the middle of the episode, you just hear this "ow,"
Just a scream. Yeah.
and I'm like, "What the fuck?" And I'm like, "Loop jumped on me."
Yeah. She's sweet though.
She's a very sweet cat.
But yeah. No, Gus the theater cat is a perfect role for Ian McKellen.
Sure.
The cat's name is actually Asparagus, but it goes Gus by short. And yeah, he's just this old retired theater cat. And he's really, I don't know, his poem is really cute. Like it's got a little line that's like, I've played, so he says, every possible part, and I used to know 70 speeches by heart. I'd extemporize backchat, I knew how to gag, and I knew how to let the cat out of the bag. Like, it's cute.
And I think that's the thing that makes. I think that's like you said. That's one of the reasons why this thing is so popular. Is because it's just very cute and it just has a lot of.
It's got personality.
It's very simple appeal. It's the very simple appeal of going to a theater and being entertained by a bunch of cats who are dancing around.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't have to be anything else to it. I just want to watch a bunch of cats about being cats.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Let's see. Who else do we got? There's Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift is playing Bumblearina. Which Bumblearina is a female cat in the play that is always seen with like her best friend, which is another cat named Demeter. They're kind of a duo. They sing a song. They sing like a duet song together about Macavity, which is a pretty good song. It's kind of like a slow, jazzy song.
That's fun.
So Taylor Swift is fucking playing her. A woman named Daniela Norman is playing her friend Demeter, which who is that?
Who the fuck are you?
Who the fuck is Daniela Norman?
You create something like N-word singing. You fucking sit in your tower.
Like she's been in like nothing. She's been in An American in Paris, the musical, and now she's gonna be in Cats. So like,
okay.
She might be great, but good fucking luck having to be like in a duo with Taylor Swift. I'm so sorry. Like,
well, we won't know until you force me to see it with you.
Do you think that was like Taylor Swift's team who were like, put Taylor Swift in the movie, but to put her next to someone nobody knows about. We don't want Taylor competing with another well-known actress. Like, I gotta side-eye that a little bit.
You never really know what's going on, though. That's the thing that I always try to emphasize to people whenever people are pissed off about something that happens in a movie or they don't understand, like, well, why didn't they just do this? And it's like, you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. Like,
I don't want to say, like, oh, Taylor Swift doesn't want to act. I'd like, that sounds like a managerial thing. Like,
well, it could either be a managerial thing or maybe in a world that doesn't exist. Maybe she's maybe she's protege. Maybe she's taken her under her wing or something. I mean, who really knows?
like, I'm sure this girl is very talented. It's just that it's like she's
weird.
It's like, who knows her? She's been in 2 things. Technically 1 thing. This will be her second.
Well, as we all know,
we'll see.
I mean, Jason Derulo though, like
Jason Derulo though.
Jason Derulo. That's all I know. What songs did he do?
Yeah, what the fuck did he even sing?
All I remember is on the radio occasionally I knew it was Jason Derulo when it was at Jason Derulo. And
yeah, it was that dark period of time where every fucking rap and R&B song had to have somebody say their name in it.
So I typed in Jason De, and the first thing that came up wasn't Jason Derulo, wasn't Jason's Deli. It was Jason Derulo Cats.
Yep. Because everybody's like, what?
Yeah, I'm gonna look up what songs he did. Jason Derulo. What are his songs? Turn the Beat Around in 2010. Oh no, that's a film. That's his filmography.
Well, stop looking at that.
Oh. He was in the Lethal Weapon remake.
Oh, he did that shitty. Did he do that shitty What You Say remix that used like Imogen Heap's?
Hold on, I think that might be him.
He's done something else though.
Awards, references. Where are his songs?
Just type in songs.
I don't.
I'm looking it up.
No, I'm looking it up now. Okay. Oh, yep, it is What You Say. He did that What You Say remix. He also did something, and there's a picture of a mouth next to it, so I assume it's about mouthfeel.
Ride and Solo sounds familiar. I feel like.
Yeah, no, it's the What You Say is that's the one I think that I'm thinking of when I think of him.
Well, he doesn't say his name like that in that song though.
Oh, well, it's one that.
It's probably Riding Solo. In my head also. What You Say, In My Head, and Riding Solo are all from 2010, so I bet it was all 3 of those songs.
Sure. I mean, he was hot there for a minute. That hot minute.
Anyway, fuck off, Jason Derulo.
Whatever. I mean, you don't know. You don't know.
Whatever. I'm glad he's in Cats. It's weird. James Corden is playing Bustopher Jones.
Bustopher.
Yeah. That sounds. Who is James Corden?
God, I'm looking at these screenshots.
Oh, he's a English actor, singer, comedian. You'd recognize him. I know his face. What has he done? Like, I know his face. I know him.
I'm looking at these characters, at these screenshots from Cats, and I am just like the heads aren't even the right shape.
No, it's not great.
Like it looks like the top of the head is turned towards me, but the face is at a kind of a 3/4 turn. And there's no character to these designs either.
There's a little bit. Like, there's enough that I can tell some of them apart, but not as many as I could with the original musical. Like, I can tell Bustopher Jones apart because he's the fat cat. Like, he's fat. That's
well,
the thing.
yeah, but I'm looking at the rest of the main cast, and I'm just like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be looking at here.
Jennifer Hudson is going to be playing Grisabella.
Okay.
She's got the pipes to sing that, because that is a strong song to sing. So she'll at least nail singing that song. Her design, like all the others, bad.
I need to derail the party for a second and be mad about something.
Oh, okay.
So there's a New York Post article, which right there. The title is "People Are Furious. Cats star Francesca Hayward has white fur."
I don't care, and I don't want to get into this argument right now.
And the first sentence. No, if you want me to drop this, I will. It's just, and I'm not going to get too far into this. It just was so. It's the dumbest shit. That's manufactured. That has got to be something that no one was talking about.
Yeah, no, not really. One person said something.
Yeah, somebody on Twitter, and it was probably somebody who works for the New York Post.
Who knows? Anyway. Laurie Davidson is playing Mr. Mistopheles.
Ew.
I like Mr. Mistopheles. He's one of my favorite cats. Who the fuck is Laurie Davidson? IMDb. Who the fuck is this fellow? Oh, he's got a pretty face. He's got a pretty face. Pretty face. He's a pretty face boy. He's been in The Good Liar, Diana and I, the TV series Will, and The Vampire Academy.
Wow, I have never any of that. I maybe have heard of Vampire Academy, and
that's the most familiar one, and even that is like, oh, he was an uncredited party host in that one.
Good.
Great. So I have no idea who the fuck this pretty boy is playing Mr. Mistopheles, the Magic Cat.
The Magic.
He is. Mr. Mistopheles is great. He's a magician cat, and he's a black and white cat, but like he's a tuxedo cat basically. That's cute. He's a good song, and he does magic tricks. That's all you need. All you fucking need.
He's just a magical.
He's a magician cat. Robert Fairchild is playing Monkstrap. Monkstrap is kind of like, you'll recognize him. He's got a pretty recognizable design. He's a gray and white striped cat. And he kind of acts as MC, and he's kind of like the second in command under Old Deuteronomy.
Okay.
Robert Fairchild. Who are you? Are you gonna be an it? Who are you? I don't know actors, if you haven't noticed.
I mean, you're preaching the choir here. Like I'm kind of like I looked over the cast list a second ago, and I'm like, I'm looking at it, I'm kind of like,
You might just be a dancer.
I recognize, like...
Yeah, he's been in a lot of musicals, so...
2 or 3 of these names.
This is actually like a musical person.
I've got... Okay.
Jason Derulo is Rum Tum Tugger. Man, don't do that to Rum Tum Tugger.
I like his original design.
Yeah, he's a fucking like Mick Jagger, David Bowie design.
Yeah, he's so they took that and they mixed it with a tomcat.
Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what he is.
Or more like a... What's the thing I'm thinking of? I'm thinking about cat types now. What's the It's not a tomcat. It's a.
I mean, tomcat is just a generic term for like a big male cat.
Right. I'm more thinking of a... Oh my god, it's driving me crazy now, because there's a particular breed of cat that's fairly common. They've got kind of brownish stripes.
Mm-hmm.
Almost green, depending on the way the light hits them.
Yeah. Not a calico, but...
I used to know this type of cat because it was like my neighbors had this type of cat for a really long time, and I can't remember what kind it is. But whatever.
So here's a
It's
fun
not
thing about Rum Tum Tugger.
okay. Tell me what the fun thing is.
So in the original play, he's a super sexed up cat because the whole point is that it's like the way they played him in the musicals that it's like, ooh, he's the big tomcat that like he's kind of this rock star, and they obviously, like I said, they dressed him up to be very Mick Jagger, very David Bowie, very like kind of sexy.
Yeah.
In the 2014 revival, they decided a good way to modernize him was to make him a rapper and to call him a street cat, which is maybe not great. They that lasted for 2 years and they stopped doing it in 2016.
And then they stopped
because no one liked it.
Oh man, I just again, there's just so much of this that just like it's both fascinating and also kind of alien.
Yep.
To me, it is anyway because and it's just. But everybody's kind of got that thing where it's like I was just really into this thing as a kid, and now and it's as you said, there doesn't have to be anything more to it than that. It just is this, I'm just it's just fascinating history of it, and I don't know why I thought you were a little more of a musical person. And I think it's just because
I got real into Hamilton.
yeah, well,
that's all it is.
Well, like, a lot of the people, like both people I know and people I like follow online, tend to be super into musicals. Especially if they're modern liberal women, and because Morgan has been really into music. She's got a couple of musicals that she's really into. Her best friend in college was really into musicals. And she was actually in the chorus of what's that Gilbert and Sullivan play that takes place in Japan, but it's like a faux version of Japan. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Matt, I'm not into musicals.
God damn it!
I
would have at least known Gilbert and Sullivan.
I love that. Like, I thought you were into musicals. I'm not. Okay, but what's the name of this one obscure one?
You know what? That's fair. That's on me. Anyway, my point is that, and then I think about Lindsay Ellis, and I think about like, I've had this weird crash course in musicals, mostly from the female presences in my life, and for some reason, I thought you were into musicals, and that's just why it's so fascinating. And it's like, just cats.
Just cats and Hamilton, really. So I think that encompasses a good spectrum of musicals.
Sure. I guess
Lion King, but that doesn't count because it's already based off of Lion King. I don't know.
Yeah, it's based off of the popular anime.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. I'm not gonna open up that can of worms.
Let's not. Hey, Naomi Morgan and Danny Collins are playing Rumple Teaser and Mungo Jerry. So that's fun.
I don't. It took me a minute to recognize that you were saying names.
Yeah.
Because I don't know I don't know any of those people.
I have no idea who those people are.
But I do have to say that Melissa Madden Gray, is that what you said? Griddlebone?
What?
What?
Those were none of the words I said.
Wait, what did you say?
Mungo Jerry and Rumple Teaser.
Okay, so I saw Melissa Madden Gray.
I don't know.
She is an Australian-born actress, dancer, and cabaret performer who tours internationally.
Griddlebone.
Okay. Griddlebone. I don't know who Griddlebone is.
What the fuck is Griddlebone?
Stephen McRae is Skimbleshanks. It's fun. It's a fun name. He's an Australian ballet dancer. That's it.
I think Griddlebone is a lesser known, like one of the kind of like B cats. Like it's
I was gonna part of the list. I'm looking on Wikipedia. At this part of the list, these are like
Way down the list.
This is down the list. Like, these are the dancers, like the people who
Yeah.
are just dancers
Yeah.
and have stage
They have
experience.
names, but they don't really have like a song or something.
Well, everyone has a name, Rebecca.
Mungo Jerry and Rumpelteazer, though, they're really fun because they have a song. They're based off an original poem. They are a pair. They are a brother and sister pair of twin cats that are like petty thief cat burglars.
That's fun. That's fun.
They're cute.
It's so funny. Every time I feel like you're about to run out of steam, you're just like, and then moreover,
And then more cats.
and then here's yet more cats.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, so like, okay, there's Demeter. Okay, Bluey Robinson as a lot. Who is Bluey Robinson? I'm gonna say he's a British singer, songwriter, actor, and recording artist from South London. He was born in Stockholm. No, I like a Stockholm. ZZ Stralin. Wait, is there a cat named Jelly Eorum?
Jelly Lorum?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could tell if it was an I or not.
Jelly Lorum. Let me look up Jelly Lorum. Oh yeah, she's kind of an older cat. Like, obviously not as old as Grisabella or Old Deuteronomy, but she's kind of one of the older ones, and she has a couple singing parts. She doesn't have a song about her, but she does a lot of choruses and a lot of kind of additional things, if that makes sense.
No,
Yeah.
Additional.
Well, it's like if they need someone to sing a line of something, they'll have her as one of the chorus cats. Yeah.
So interesting the way that film and theater works, where it's just like, we need somebody for just this line.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I don't know. I think interesting. Were there any? Did you want to go down more of the cat characters? Is there any other major points? Because I feel like we may have taken this as far as we can.
I think that's all the major cat roles that we've gone over. Like, Of course, there's a couple more that it's like, again, it's a backup dancer who has maybe one or two lines, but
right.
Yeah, those are all the main ones.
When does this come out?
I think December.
I'm
gonna have to make you watch the original.
Oh, boy.
It's gonna be fun.
I'll be back December 20th. I was gonna say, like, I don't know, I might be in Tokyo, but yeah, I guess I'll be back.
I'm gonna find the original one. That it's on DVD now.
I bet it is. Oh boy.
You're gonna learn all about cats, angelical cats. It's gonna be great. You're gonna learn all their names.
Will this be on the written portion of the exam?
Yes.
Okay, I just typed in cats into Amazon.
Who's playing
And surprisingly, it's on Prime Video.
Terrific.
I think it's free.
Stephen McCrae is playing Skimbleshanks?
Skimbleshanks.
He's the railway cat. Usually in the show, he has a little vest. Some dancer is playing him. That's fine.
I just the way you're just like, he had a little vest. I'm like, that's good.
That's his character. He worked on the railway and he has a vest. Cats. Did you know cats have 3 names?
Do they now?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That's in the very first poem, The Naming of Cats. It talks about how cats have 3 names.
Oh my God. Are you gonna make me read the poems too?
Maybe. They're actually really delightful.
I don't doubt that they are. I'm just like, boy howdy. I keep expecting you to like send me a message at some point to be like, Matt, I feel like I can't overstate. our friendship rides on you.
On your knowledge of
you
Cats, the musical.
Getting into Cats.
Oh god, I wonder if they're going to do the Peaks and the Pollicles. That's going to be weird.
I don't know what that is.
Words!
Are they words? Or are they just noises?
A little bit of A, a little bit of B. They're cat names. They're cat names.
Cat names. You think that, cat would be and the other cat would be
Nope, it's their special cat names. Yeah, no, it's really, I don't know. In the first poem, it talks about how cats have 3 names, and it's like their first name is their given name, like it's a regular, everyday kind of, like, it's the name that people call them, like a Justin or some shit like that.
Justin.
Oh god, it's their slave name. Man, I'll unpack that at a later date. And then their second name is their cat name. So that's where you get all the weird, like, Jelly Lorem and Bombalarina and stuff. Those are their cat names.
Bombalarina.
And then they have a third name that nobody but that cat knows.
Oh, do they now?
Yeah. I don't know. It's goofy. It's Cats. It is played as straight as possible. I hope the movie plays it as straight as possible, because I think the only thing that would make me even more angry at the movie than its shitty CGI cat faces would be if they tried to put some weird social commentary into it.
I hope that's what they do.
So
I want that so badly, because
there will be a part 2 of this podcast if they do that.
Oh no, there's going to be a part 2 regardless. We're going to have to come back and talk about this.
That's true.
Look, I feel like we've taken this as far as we can. I am forcibly pulling the plug on this because
it's gonna be fun. We're gonna watch Cats in December. We're gonna talk about this again. And yeah, I hope there's no weird social commentary.
I was kind of ambivalent about it.
It's gonna be fun now.
Oh no, I hope so.
Is that what you're hoping for the movie?
I'm hoping
they
that
put in some weird, like, political or social commentary into Cats.
I will be
You'll
Jurassic
be what?
World Fallen Kingdom. Can you hear me? Am I cutting?
You're cutting out a little bit.
Okay. If I had to sit through that shit in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, you're gonna have to sit through it in Cats.
I had to sit through it in Jurassic World. What are you talking about?
I know. Now we both have to do it again.
Great. God, I hope they don't do that.
I hope they do. This December for when we.
So Matt, what Matt wants from Cats is a sexy cat lady and political commentary. Good.
I feel like that's just my life. Like, cool. At this point.
I hope there is no political commentary, and I hope they keep that weird sexual erotic tension between Rum Tum Tugger and Mr. Mistopheles. That's all I hope for. Anyway, Cats. We'll be back on this subject eventually. I hope everyone had fun.
Mm-hmm.
Go watch Cats, I guess.
We just posted the Jurassic World podcast as well. Go listen to that.
Yeah, please go listen to that one.
And Evangelion.
That is also up. We'll be going to Disney in, like, 2 weeks at this point, so...
Yep. God, I feel like I need a cigarette.
You need a what?
I need a cigarette.
Jesus. Yeah. No, it's gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to the trip. Hopefully we'll take some video or some shit like that. It'll be great.
Yeah. Just need to be face down on the pavement at one point.
Yeah, basically. Hey, they've seen weirder shit at Disney.
Oh, yeah.
What does it matter?
Nothing. Nothing matters.
Nothing matters. Anyway.
Anyway.
We'll see you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.